What?
Welcome back, everybody. It's D with D's Tackle Box. I got a couple of lures sitting here on my table that I wanted to talk to you about, show y'all some comparisons. A couple of old wooden lures. There's some, some used lures that we picked up, and we thought we should compare them to the newer stuff that was made afterwards. A lot of these lures were created back in the 30s and 40s when they were still made out of wood and had the hand-painted stuff going on. And then we got models that are now plastic of the same type. But we wanted to get into this video, show you a couple of different comparisons and see if maybe you have something in your tackle box that might look like what we got here on our table. So stay tuned and I'll hook y'all up with a quick video so y'all can take a look at these lures with me. So to start off with, I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about a brand that we don't usually bring up a lot here in our channel. Mainly because I don't collect it, but also there's a bunch of different models that they made, so I figured it would be a good opportunity to take a look at one of the models that I picked up here in a recent find. And these are Shakespeare. You can barely see the brand there, but it's a Shakespeare box that I picked up that had a old wooden popper type lure like this. Now if you see the paint job on that sucker, you can tell it looks kind of crude and kind of handmade, right? Well, I'm thinking that's how it was. Could have been some stenciling going on, because I got another one here that has the black shore finish. And interestingly enough, this lure sits on the water like this and pops like this, right? So you never get to see this on the top. The fish are only looking at this bottom belly that looks just solid black, right? Same thing goes for this one. All the artwork is on the top, but if you notice the bottom, you got a solid yellow. So this one here was Shakespeare's 1940s, early 1940s popper type situation lure here. These were created back in the 1940s and only lasted about, I think from what I understood, only 2 years, 3 years maybe. And so I'm not sure if it had to do with the way that they performed, or maybe just a different model that came afterwards that people like better. But look at the lips on these suckers. I mean, you can see the angle there. I could just see these suckers pulling some water and spitting it. So we might hold on to one of these so we can go ahead and fish them. But I know that there's some collectors out there that like these old wooden lures, these Shakespeare brand as well. So these might be up and available for you to add to your collection if you're interested. Now these are called a Shakespeare baby popper, and they were just, like I said, they were made for top water fishing. So you top water fanatics, have you tried one of these? If not, holler at me, man. Might be your chance there. So from what I understood, I only have these two colors, but I believe there was also, on one of the pictures I saw, there was a white body one that looked like this one in reverse. It was a white body with the black lines. So all this pattern, but backwards. And on the other one, it was a frog bait. And if it was a frog spot, I would have already had it in my collection. So I don't know where that one is. I haven't been able to find one to add to our collection in the frog spot. So that is one of the top water lures that I wanted to share with you. But there's also old wooden crankbaits like this. This guy here with that flat nose and that scoop lip type of thing going on. This one is made by a company out of Arkansas called Woods Manufacturing Company, and then they were a pretty prominent company when it came to lures, because I've had a couple of collections where we've included a couple of Woods lures in frog spot. They made an awesome looking frog spot pattern for these guys here. So this is what you call the I think it's a Dipsy Doodle. And one of the things about this that's interesting is that this is the older model, but afterwards they busted out with the Dipsy Doodle, but in plastic, molded fin, and this is the newer model. So this is your older version in wood. You can see the way they screwed the hanger there. And this one here is the newer model, or the later version, with the hanger that kept the hook freed up from the body there. And it added propellers, totally different style. Obviously it's a top water with these propellers, you know. But this is called the Dipsy Doodle after this guy went, I guess, discontinued, or they changed it to plastic. Now these suckers right here, from what I understood, had 12 different colors, and they were the Pearl, the Smoky Joe, the Chub, the Redhead. They had a couple of other ones like the yellow, solid yellow one. I think this one is a Shiner. And they had a couple of frog colors, a silverfish or a silver flitter or whatever you call that, and a grass pike, and obviously black as well. So those two are very different. And they also had a lure. I had it here somewhere. If I find the picture, I'll post it up right here so y'all can see it. But it was called the Woods Doodler, and it had a really sharp nose, kind of like a garfish. And after that was a wood one, but then when they redid it and made it into a plastic, they added the fin again. And this is your Woods Doodler. And look at the interesting way that they would hang that sucker. It's almost like a heart-shaped hook hanger there. It's pretty cool. So this is your plastic version of the old wooden one. And while we're talking plastics and old wooden stuff, there's another company that did the same. When you talk about wooden crankbaits, and I believe who was it, Retro, that put a video out talking a little bit, or somebody was talking about these lures. And this is your Clark's Water Scout, and this is your Series 300. And as you can see, the eyeball there, it's semi-flush with the body, so it has an indentation there, and then it has the little raised pupil. This was the later model. The earlier models had a the eyeball right here, where it shows the eyeball right here, the indentation was actually flush and had no raised pupil. It was a flat painted pupil. But then before that was a no pupil dented eye. I had one of those. If I find it, I'll add the picture here. But it had no raised pupil, and that was the first original body that this lure came out in. After that, it came out with this. I mean, with the one that had the painted eyeball, and it was flush with the same oval indentation. Then this raised eyeball, and then the later models came with kind of like this one's pretty rough. I picked this one up somewhere in a box that I had a bunch of beaters in. But this one, you can see the eyeball is painted. And it's rounded. It's more overly, the whole body shape is round, period. Has not a lot of features that show the eyeball indented or raised eye or nothing like that. This was the latest model. That's Clark's, the 300 series. I think that's Springfield, Missouri. That's where they were originally made. We move on to a couple of other pieces. Actually, before I take off from the Clark's Water Scouts, just to give you an idea of how old they are, the ones that I spoke about that had the no eye, that were the dented eye, those were from the 1930s and 40s. And the ones that I showed you right now are more like late 40s and 50s. So that gives you an idea of the years on these suckers, you know. So I had somebody talking about how in one of our groups that everybody sells their lures for like crazy money, and that there's just no sense in that. Well, like one of the comments on there said, try holding on to some of these lures that were made in 1930s and 20s and stuff like that, with the boxes and the paperwork and the catalogs and all that, and keeping them in mint condition, and then come talk to me, because I guarantee you, you are not going to find them cheap. And if you're looking for real cheap, go shop on eBay, man. Go take a look at those lures that are wooden, glass-eyed, stuff like that in perfect condition, and see what you can find under $5. Now, another thing I wanted to show y'all, when we talk about lures and things like that, there's one of them that I really like, which is the Bomber Lure Company. they have this cool little back running lure, and in another video we talked about them. When you see this little screw right there, let me see if I can get closer. When you see that little screw right there holding that tailpiece together, that's your wooden body bomber back runners. But the plastic ones are different. They have no screw holding this tail here, and the hook hangers are actually screwed in without this indentation like these cups and stuff like that. So they have a different setup. And when it comes to bomber lures, somebody that made some lures that were obviously really sought after, and there's a lot of collectors that collect these, there's always going to be imitations or other companies that have their own version. And this one is your Whopper Stopper. I think I got that one upside down for you. Whopper Stopper. And it almost looks identical as far as the body shape and all that goes. See the lip and all that. But these guys, ouch, these guys actually have a heart-shaped lip on that. See? This is the bomber. This is the Whopper Stopper brand. And I'm going to show you a couple of other things here. Like on the bomber brand, this is their wooden water dog. See the lip rounded? They got that screw right there that holds the lip in place. And then Whopper Stopper busted out with their version of the bomber water dog called the Hellbender. So we talked about these in one of my earlier videos. This rounded lip is the bomber. This rounded lip with the indentation there, looks like a heart-shaped thing, that's your Whopper Stopper. They almost look the same, but they have a couple of differences that you can notice as you analyze them a little bit better. So take your time to get to know them. This is a plastic, this is a wood. You can see the hardware, the way it's mounted, it's different. This one has a large cup around it. This one has kind of like an inset type of cup deal here. And when there's companies that actually produce something that everybody likes, there's always going to be other companies that are going to also produce something similar. This one right here is your Martin Lizard, and this guy looks almost identical to the Hellbender, but it has the raised eyes there. It has a different type of the lip compared to the circle one here and the heart-shaped one here. See? And you can see each one has its own thing. This is a different version, almost the same body style. A couple of different things to look at that are different on this one compared to the other guys. Like I said, this one is plastic, this one is plastic, and Mr. Bomber's here is a wood one. Now the bomber lures, I think it was early 40s, they were mostly wooden lures, all the way up to 1949 when they started with the plastics, the early plastics. And one way to know what models were the 1949 is that in 1949, the plastic bodies that look like this one here that I showed y'all, the tail here was actually molded into the body, so it had no insert, no screw holding it in place. It was just one body along with the tail. It's kind of like a fluted fin type of thing, and you could really tell the difference in the 1949 model. After that, they went to the kind of similar way of putting the ends on them in 1950s, plastic with the little metal tail on them. And if I had some plastic ones here for me to show y'all, I would, but I think I've sold them all. So when we talk about companies that kind of like that, like the bombers that did the plastic and the wood and all that stuff, I always like to include my favorite brand, which is Heddon brand. So on that note, there's one lure here that I want to show you guys, and let me see if I can get this up out of here without messing up the. This right here, this one's all jacked up from the paint. We're gonna redo this one, probably wrap it in snakeskin or repaint it in something else that we can use. This is your 1940s to 50s Heddon Crazy Crawler. You can see the name right there, Heddon Crazy Crawler. And these guys had a different setup for the fins that they got here. They have a little screw that holds it in place, and you can see inside there. There's a screw that holds that clip, and there's a screw that holds that clip on the outside. This is a two-piece hook hanger. So these are earlier models, probably mid 40s or something. And then we have, see the way that the tail end is held in place? It's got a two-piece piece of hardware there. This is your early Heddon Crazy Crawler topwater lure. But then by 1957, along comes the 9120, that's the model 9120 Heddon Crazy Crawler. And you can tell those fins are very differently attached to the body. There's no pin and no screws holding all that stuff together. There's just this right here that holds that wing in place, and the wing is actually now has this piece molded onto it so it can flap in the water like that. So when you're fishing these suckers, the water will hit and kind of navigate through the wing area, and it would it starts to use one and then the other, one and then the other. Kind of it has this crazy action that makes it flop like this on top of the water. It's kind of like a swimmer going left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm. Well, that's the same thing this one does. Plop, 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 plop. This is your plastic spook Heddon Crazy Crawler, and this is the OG wooden Heddon Crazy Crawler. Big differences in these two, man. Lots of changes came along the way, obviously, but both of them fish awesome, and both of them will catch you some bass. So guys, it was a quick video here for you guys to look at some cool, interesting lures and some of the facts that isolated the plastics and transitioned a lot of them, like the 1949s that I was telling you about. That was a transitioning year for the bomber back running lures like that. And so pre-1949, wooden with the screw. 49, one whole plastic body. And then 1950s, from then on, they went on with the plastic body, metal tails. But all of this stuff helps us to, you know, when you're out there looking for lures or out there checking out your collections and stuff, if you're displaying things like these, if you're trying to set up like an all wooden display, at least now you know how to identify each, and then you can go back and let's say you hit a flea market and you find a bunch of these lures on the table there. If you're looking for the older stuff and it's priced at a good price, you know, now you know how to tell the difference. And also, if you're more stuck into the, you know, the plastic, you know, lures that most of us can fish with, and if you destroy it or whatever, they tend to be more readily available. Now you know how to tell the difference between them too. And if you already knew all that stuff and you got some more pointers and you have some more information that you'd like to share, drop them in the comments, man. We appreciate everything that you guys do as far as you know, giving us the likes and subscribing to our channel for whatever reason. But we also enjoy hearing your comments about the actual lures that we post on here. A lot of you guys I know are probably sitting there, oh man, I got a bunch of those in my box. Well, you know, send me some pictures or whatever. We'll definitely use them here whenever we get a chance. So till next time, this is D signing off. Fish out.
Yeah. Turn me up. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm on the way up. 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 Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.